after living in a penthouse apartment, went to Burger King and applied for a job and got denied for a job. So it just got too rough. I was cutting lawns. I was bartending on the weekends. I just outworked everybody. I put in 80 hours a week. I'm making phone calls and I'm cold calling.
Welcome back to another episode of Intrepidus podcast with your hosts Dan and Anthony, episode number 59. Today we have Billy Negron with Beam.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Billy.
Welcome. Thank you, guys.
Of course. Happy to have you on. Hopefully I pronounced your last name right. I know it's a bit of a challenge that we discussed earlier, but tell us a little bit about Beam.
Beam stands for Brilliance in Every Automated Move. We're an auto broker. We do lease brokering all throughout the United States, but heavily, obviously, in the tri-state area where we are.
What is lease brokering?
So it's basically, we're just a middleman between the dealership and the customer. Customer calls us, we negotiate the entire deal for them, obviously at a great price, and then we hand deliver the vehicle to them. So they actually never step foot into the dealership. So we go over everything, we get them approved, everything online or through the phone, and like I said, we just deliver the car to them, a white glove service.
Why go to a broker than to go to a dealership?
98% of the people look at car dealers like they look at the dentist, right? They hate to go there. So it just saves you so much time. So on average, our pricing is usually around $2,000 off of MSRP. So it's just an immediate 1, 2, 3, easy negotiations. There's no hassle. You know what I mean? You're not held hostage going back and forth for negotiations. So most customers just enjoy that. Plus the white glove service. Like I said, we just deliver it right to your house or to your job.
Well, I know the pain of going to dealerships. We talked a little bit about it off camera. You know, I went to the last 2 weeks, spent way too much time going to dealerships. Went to about 5, 6 dealerships over the last 2 Saturdays. Yeah, fucking nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Saturdays are definitely the worst day to go to because that's when they're very overly ambitious.
They are, and surprisingly not as busy as I remember them because I haven't stepped foot in a dealership except for going to Audi, but that was in and out. I was like, I want that car. He was like, okay, and that was it. Like,
yeah.
We were done, right? Yeah. But doing it for somebody else, with somebody else is a completely different story. And we did have a lease broker. Yeah. I think it was the best thing since sliced bread. Don't have to go anywhere. Yep. Had her mom get a vehicle, but that relationship kind of went sour. So in shopping for a new broker. Thank God I met you today. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about your journey. How do you become a lease broker? Tell us, you said went to college for a little bit, then stopped. Give us your journey.
So I went to college. I ended up getting into a really bad car accident on my 21st birthday, and one of my friends passed away. So I ended up having to drop out of school, and then I got into the mortgage business. I did that business for a good 8 years before I sold my company, and then I ended up eventually moving back to New Jersey. And when I started in the car business just like everybody else. I busted my hump until I got promoted. And one day I was just working for somebody, and I did my job very well. I put a lot of money up for him. And he turned around, basically, I don't know if he was trying to motivate me or insult me, but he kind of insulted me by telling me that I wasn't meant for the business. So I handed him his keys, and I said, no problem. And literally the next day I went and opened up a broker business just to prove that I can. Now, brokering and opening a dealership are two different things, right? To open up a dealership, you need tons of money, credit, floor plan, connections with wholesalers, auctions, different things like that, where lease brokering it's very simple. You just need to make a relationship with a dealership, and you're just selling off other people's inventory with no overhead. And here we are since 2017, still running and gunning.
It's pretty wild, bro. I went to high school and middle school with Billy over here, and just to see we're like grown men now in our 40s. Yeah. And we used to hang out behind this place called the Windmill Club. Everyone used to get in trouble back there.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to always do stuff that we shouldn't be doing in the woods, Yeah. But just to see that, things change. I saw Billy again. We've been connected on social media for a long time, but saw him again back like 2017 at church. And then haven't really seen him again, but just stayed connected. But, you talked about your car accident, and you had to drop out of college. And that car accident put a major dent in your life.
Definitely did.
And
others, and his families.
Other people's lives as well. And it restricted you from many things. On top of that, I think that because of that, You kind of didn't have any opportunities to take the traditional way of getting a job with job security.
That's
and
correct.
You were forced into entrepreneurship. And it put you in a place where it was like, hey, fight or flight.
Yep.
You could talk about, what happened in 2008 in your mortgage industry. You exited at the right time. And then you were trying to, get a job and you couldn't. Maybe you can help the audience understand like how tragic your life was. But most people, when they go through a tragedy and things hold them back and set them back, you didn't allow it to because you had no other choice. Yes, it was a bad thing that happened. It was a bad time in your life. And, many people were affected. But you could have stayed paralyzed and had the world try to feel bad for you, which nobody would have.
Yep.
Or you could have done what you've done. Maybe you could just kind of drop some knowledge on what that whole situation was.
Listen, on a personal level, when you go through something like that, healing is it's time, man. And it's really just more about forgiveness and forgiving yourself, right? To get to who you're supposed to be. And remember, even when we want to be something in business, whatever we want to be, and we always have these dreams of where we want to go, but you need to know who yourself is before you can even be that, right? And get to know exactly who you're going to be. So on a personal level, it's just time. On a business level, listen, when I first happened, laws were a lot different. And I was allowed to obtain my mortgage broker license. I was allowed to be an owner. I was allowed to be on paper. When I sold the business in 2008, this is something I didn't share with you guys before, but I tried to reopen again in 2010 when things started going back normal. And I actually spent 15 grand to get my license back for them just to deny me and keep my 15 grand saying, well, we can't do convicted felons anymore because of how much fraud was in the mortgage industry. Oh. Even though I've never had a red flag, I've never had an issue, nothing. But listen, as a man, you have to get up and you have to go, right? I was very blessed to have a very hardworking father that cared more about us, his kids, and his wife than himself. Mm-hmm. And my father never fails. He never falls. He's 5'7". Don't get me wrong, he falls. But you would never know. He just gets up and keeps moving, and he instilled that in me. And if it wasn't for him showing me that, I probably wouldn't have been so diligent, into everything that I do. But every day, no matter what happens, they tell me, hey, you have this, you have that. That's great.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. You were telling us before, and I really want the audience to understand, like Dan was saying, during that time where you sold in 2008, mm-hmm. you said, you were living well, you had a good buyout, everything was fine, but you realize eventually you're going to have to make some money soon.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about how that felt, what you had to do in order to attempt to get a job. Where did you try to get jobs? Like, to what end?
How about this? Since my accident, right? Mm-hmm. Even when I opened up the mortgage company, I opened it with a friend, right? So it wasn't just me by myself. But it's always been word of mouth of how I got my jobs, any job. And I've sold annuities after this. I mean, I went into several different businesses. But it was always word of mouth because my conviction was never going to give me that job ever in a million years. So I had to have people vouch for me. Hey, he's a really good person. Hey, he's a great salesman. He's very strong. I'm blessed, and part of the reason I think I'm able to do some of the things that I do is because I've perfected my craft in selling. I'm selling myself, I'm selling my products, and selling my things. But when I sold my company, it was like near impossible getting a job. So I ended up, like I said, I did annuities for a little bit. That was, to me, was the worst business I can ever be into. But then even after that, it was tough. I told you guys the story, dead serious. After living in a penthouse apartment, went to Burger King and applied for a job and got denied for a job. So it just got too rough. And at that point, I was cutting lawns. I was bartending on the weekends, even though I had a conviction for a DUI, because it was the only possible way I had to put any type of money on the table. And listen, nobody wants to be a bartender, work until 4 a.m. at 36 years old. That's mm-hmm. not the lifestyle. And that was part of the reason that even made me move back. But again, I moved back. I didn't start in the car business on the top. I started as a salesperson just like everybody else. And it's not that I was the best salesperson. I just outworked everybody. I put in 80 hours a week. I was there when I was supposed to be there. If there was any downtime, I'm making phone calls and I'm cold calling. I'm making sure that I'm going to make money today. How I'm going to make money, I don't know. But I know I'm going to hustle, I'm going to grind until I make that. And then little by little, promotions, you know. At this point, my convictions don't hold against me because I've already built a name for myself.
Now, we're in this time that you had a son somewhere in this time.
Yeah.
You were married at one point.
Well, thank God I never got married.
You never got married?
No,
Okay.
no, never got married. You know?
So,
We'll knock right over here. But I have a beautiful 9-year-old son that I'm very close with. And if you guys ever see my posts, I say it all the time. Your kids are watching you. Your kids, just like I watched my father put in the work, right? And I watched how much he loved us. I tried to give my son that times 2. The only thing my father didn't give me a lot of was time. And it was because he was always working for someone. He was always on the job. But when he did have time, no matter how tired, he got up and he did what he had to do. So another part of the reason me opening my own business was so that way I could give my son time. And I do. He comes sometimes. He lives in Boca Raton. So he comes sometimes for a week. I take that entire week off. I make sure I manage all my whole schedule before he comes. So that week, I don't even want a phone call. I don't care if the world blows up. That's me. But now I'm trying to scale up. And I told you guys earlier, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm trying to scale my business up, right? So I'm trying to put more money into it, more advertising, more of the things that I didn't do before that I should have, right? I dragged feet a little bit. So I took a job. I still have my business. I have 5 employees. They run everything on a day-to-day. I get maybe 1 or 2 calls a day about what I have to do. And the rest of the time, I just make money. You know, I'm just making extra money. Why? Just to put right back into my business and to put into my retirement account. I told you guys I want to retire at 50, you know?
It's cool. So how hard is it not having your kid around?
That is my toughest battle in life. Dead serious.
Why not move back to Florida and do what you're doing now?
I'm allergic to Florida. Oh. Every time I go, I break out in handcuffs. It's just not me and Florida. We just don't mix. Yeah. And to be honest with you, when I moved to Florida, I was 18. So it was an experience, right? It was a path that I was trying to build my own life away from my parents, away from everybody, and do my thing. And I think I did exceptionally well for all the battles that I went through and all the struggles that I went through. But again, at 43 at this point, my family's everything. And, you know, I'm with my brother, my sister, my mother, my father. Even though I live a little bit, I still have to be around them. That's what holds me down. That's what grounds me. Even if it's 1 day a week we sit down and have dinner, that's what grounds me. Now, my son, on the other hand, it's tough. It's super tough. But he flies here. It costs me a lot, but I fly him here every single break, every single opportunity, even if it's just for a weekend. And when our breaks are too far apart, like for instance, right now he came 8 weeks into summer. He doesn't come back until the end of November, which is his birthday. I'm flying there in 2 more weeks for the weekend. So I go for 3 days, get a hotel room, pick him up from school, take him out for the weekend, and then I fly right back first thing Monday morning, you know?
So prioritizing that, but you're also missing a lot of things that he's doing in life. And as a father, I know it's difficult, but you are allergic to Florida, as you said, and if you go back, and clearly your ex has no intention of moving out of there.
No.
So you're stuck in a position. How do you instill, and I'm going to just turn this whole episode around a little bit. How do you instill being the father role and the father figure for your son when you're not always there? What are you doing? How are you communicating? How are you making sure that you're still being that role model to him that your father was to you?
So it started, fortunately enough, my son lived here up until he was 4. So it started early. There was any day extra that I can get with him from when he was 6 months old, I spent it. We were together always. I never even let my mother change his diaper or even give him a bath. There was no such thing. When you're with dad, dad does 150% of the stuff, and you come with dad everywhere. As soon as he left, again, he traveled, and I keep that constant contact. Even though it might be a month or a week or whatever it is, I keep the constant contact. He's had a cell phone since he was 6. I FaceTime him, not every day now. Earlier, yes, every day. Now it's once every 2 days, 3 days. I give him his space as well because he's 9. It's still confusing for him sometimes. But it's to a point where I've built such a close relationship with him that when we're together, we're having fun. We're throwing the football. I don't care how tired I am.
He looks forward to being with you.
All day, every single day.
You've definitely got a matching outfit for him every time he comes.
That's true. If you check my Instagram, I'm talking about full red outfits with the Jordans,
to the hats, to the everything.
So and again, like even now when I go, there's no such thing as something I don't do. So even right now when I go down to Florida, I got tickets to the Argentina versus Venezuela soccer game. So I make it an experience, but it comes with expectations. So he knows he has to do good in school. He knows not to talk back to his mother. No matter what my relationship is with her, he needs to have the right relationship with his mother. Yeah. And even though sometimes he doesn't agree, he talks to me. I think I told you earlier, I don't hide anything from him. He knows everything. Even though he's young and people say, oh, he's too young. No, he's going to be a man. He needs to learn how to talk like a man. He needs to learn how to be a man. So, and again, everything I do, he's seeing, he's watching. So that's basically how I do it. Now, again, I'm not perfect. There's no perfect. I don't expect him to be perfect, but I expect me to be as perfect as I can to teach him how to be a man, God forbid, when I'm no longer.
That's powerful. So I know your dad was such a big role model to you, and I know when you got in the car leasing business, you and your dad started now working together, right? At some point?
No.
Oh, you weren't?
So ironically, my father we've never worked together.
Okay.
However, he used to teach me at night sometimes because I remember when I first got
like something about mentoring you or something.
He mentored me at home, meaning I would say, hey, Dad, I'm having a hard time trying to sell this person, or when I got promoted to finance, he would sit me down at the kitchen table and role play. And he used to piss me off. Oh, my God. Because he would act like, nah. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm like, it's just role playing, man. Yeah. But, no, we never actually worked together. One time we worked together, I was doing consulting work for somebody, and I hired him, and then he stayed in the position. But that was 2 months maybe.
So, I know you got a question. I saw you brewing it up. I saw your arm rolling. I know when the answer's got a question. So, before you ask your question, back in 2017, we went to church together.
Yeah.
You called me.
Yeah, Cross Point.
When did God become a part of your life?
Oof.
Anthony doesn't like
So I
almost went a full day.
I grew up Roman Catholic. I grew up an altar boy, right? And then as a teenager, we fall out of it, right? All of these things happened. My car accident happened. I after the car accident, I actually kind of stayed away from religion, and it was a lot, right? And I prayed, but I wasn't really praying. 2017 was really when I had my real separation. My son was already 2 years old, and I was going through a lot with court and a lot with trying to get custody and things like that. And I just started. That when I saw you, I still wasn't there, right? And I'm still not there. But I went onto a super, maybe about 2 years ago, I went into a super, like, I got to find right with God. I got to find my way to him, because life is not just about this, and this. Life is truly supposed to be about him, how to live in his best image, right? That's what Jesus is for.
You gotta look at me when you talk, because Anthony's not following. But he's not interested in this conversation.
Well, I'm confused. You're a Catholic or a Christian?
I was raised Catholic.
We're all recovering Catholics.
Yeah. Okay, recovering Catholic.
Just like you were a Catholic, right? Your family was a Catholic background, probably.
Catholic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's forced. It's generational conditioning. And you're forced into somewhere where you probably fell asleep in church. He was an altar boy. I was an altar boy. I fell asleep on the altar.
You were an altar boy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I fell asleep on the altar. My mom had to come wake me up. That's how boring that shit was. But go ahead.
So, bro, I read the Quran. I started studying other religions to try to find my way. However, Jesus was the way for me. I believe religions try to find your way to God, right? I don't knock anybody's religion. But for me, that's where I found my faith. That's where I found comfort. That's where I found answers. You know, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm not even a perfect Christian. I'm trying to be, though. I'm working at it, just like I work at everything else.
It's amazing. Like, again, Anthony, I'll give you the mic in a second. But so just 2 weeks ago.
Don't even remember what it was anyway, so.
That's all right. You're a quick thinker. Just 2 weeks ago, I wrote something down in my journal because I journal every day, read scripture every day. And it was something that I was just super confused about. And I just really asked for 5 days straight. I said, God, just show me what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Show me what I'm trying to be doing with this. And literally, like the 5th day, I was like, oh, it was right there in front of me. The message was clear. Everything I was looking for was delivered. And I was able to accept that, where it's like we go through life as kids, as young adults, and we become confused, and then we never have direction.
Yeah.
And our direction is just based on, what we think influences us and what we think doesn't influence us. And back in 2007, like you, I became a Christian, but not a perfect one. Today, still not a perfect one. But we don't have to be perfect, which is good about it. But since my divorce, over the last 6 years, life has become so clear to me, especially when I write down the way I'm thinking. Great. And I ask for direction. And I just think, like you, by reading what you did and wanting to know where you go and trying a lot of different things, people don't understand how clear we could be, and the message is right there every day. And by allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in a place where we accept and we understand, again, we're trying to get my boy there, but it'll take a while.
It's ironic that you're saying that, though, right? Because in life, we all are looking for answers for things. They're like, why? Why is this happening? What's going on? And the answers really are in front of your face. The problem is that our life and what we learn through life, right? Our struggles and even our positive things, is that sometimes it blinds you, and you're really not looking. You're asking, but you're not really. You're asking with your eyes closed. And it's really right there. And the closer you start to get and the more you start to understand, then your answers start coming. Mm-hmm. Then it really does come to you, And again, it probably took you 5 days because of just maybe other things that were just blocking your mind. And
I wasn't asking in a clear mind. I was being still distracted, and I was moving that way. But yeah, it's true. But go ahead.
You forgot your question?
Jesus talk. No, I'm curious about two things. You said that your dad was a mentor.
Yes. Heavy mentor.
Yes. But entrepreneurship overall, was he a self-starter? What was your mother like?
No.
And none of that.
No.
So I wonder where this comes from. And then on top of that, it seems like you care about your son, except you're allergic to Florida.
Yeah.
So aside from not living close, what exactly is the best outcome for your son overall in life?
So, first question, right? When it comes to my parents, both of them have instilled into me the family aspect. My father wasn't raised with a father. My father moved from Puerto Rico here when he was 12 years old. Really didn't know much about his father until he was much older. However, I remember when I was 6 years old, my father flew me to Puerto Rico to meet his father. My father treated his father that day as if there was no gap, right? I knew my great-grandparents. I used to stay in their house. The house I just got from Puerto Rico is their old house. Oh. It's a big house. It's a nice house. But I was always around family. I can't even count how many cousins and uncles and great uncles and great aunts, and I'm still close with them to this day. So that's what I really got from my father, plus the hard work ethic. As far as being an entrepreneur, that's just in yourself, man. You either want it or you don't. And listen, I'm not the greatest entrepreneur in the entire world. I'm not going to be Bill Gates, but I'm working at a future, like I told you, for myself and also to leave for my son. Now, as far as what's the end game for my son, I stopped over analyzing and overthinking it because, again, I lost over $250,000 fighting for custody. I'm not a bad dad. I have a conviction. That came up in court. That was also a heavy decision on their end to whether to give me custody. She has a clean record. I'm not saying she's a bad mom. I think I'm a better parent, right? My facts have shown I'm a better parent, but it is what it is. My end game, once again, if I die, is for my son to be a good person. Be a good, hardworking person. Don't be a junkie. Don't be a thief. And I'm blessed. He doesn't have to be Albert Einstein either. He just has to be a good person. He has to follow. And believe it or not, my son follows Christ heavy. And I'm like in shock because his mother does not do that at all with him. But every Sunday he's here with me. He's going to church. Right now, when I go to Miami to stay with him, I take him to church. I stay until Sunday and I take him to church. We go have breakfast. We go to church and he's happy. He's perfectly happy. And that's all I can care about. You know, at the end of the day, he still has to be his own person, with or without me.
So you want to scale your business. You took on a job so you can do other things and have bigger opportunities, which is cool. And you talked about retiring and possibly going to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So what happens then with your son if you go to Puerto Rico? Now you just fly back?
By that time, he's already 18, 19 years old.
So we got some
So
time.
he's going to be in college anyway.
Got it.
He's always going to have a home.
Wait a minute. You said 50.
Yeah.
He's 43, 7 years.
7 years.
Oh.
No,
Yeah, it'll be 16,
17. Yeah.
He'll be on his way. In Florida, they start early.
Listen, he might remember something. At 12 years old, he could decide where he wants to live. He might come, and he's already said it to me.
You can decide at 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Custodial, you have your custodial rights.
He already said it. Like, if he can come now, he would come now. Even though he knows, because when he's here, over the summer, my mother went and bought textbooks that go over everything that he learned back in 3rd grade. He barely passed, right? Again, I pay for tutors, I pay for jiu-jitsu, I pay for all this extra stuff for him to do over there to help him, but he barely passed. He comes for the summer? No, 3 pages of work, 5 days a week. 15 minutes of in my house, there's 15 minutes of reading every single night. You turn off the TVs, I don't care what it is, 15 minutes of reading. Me, I read the Bible. Sometimes I read a motivational book or something. And I'll read it to him. I always read him the Bible, and then he has to read one of his own books. He's got a whole stack of books. But there's no games in my house. We put work in, and he understands that. So he's asked me to move here, and I said, do you understand, though, if you move here, there's no like, oh, I didn't get homework today. No. Oh, you didn't? I'll make homework.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And he still wants it. Again, maybe it's the father figure. He's missing me. Maybe it's he sees the discipline that I put in, so he wants to put some of that in. Remember, monkey see, monkey do, right?
Does she have another man in her life?
I
wish
didn't know
she
if I wanted
did.
to ask that.
I honestly, my communication with her is limited.
I wouldn't say that you wish she did.
Why?
Because then you have another man who's trying to take on the role of being a father.
If he's a good man, I want her, if I can have a wish, if God would ever answer my prayers, I don't think it's that God's not answering mine. I think God knows better with her. But I want her to find a good man. I want her to find a good father figure for him. That doesn't hurt me. My relationship with my son is always going to be my relationship with my son. As long as this guy respects my kid, then we have. I don't even need to. We have no beef. Just respect him, treat him good. Yeah. That's fine. But I think that would be amazing for him to have some other type of father figure in his life. Because over there right now, it's just her. His sisters. He's got 2 older sisters. They were 5 and 3 when I met her. They're 18 and 16 now. They're out of the house already. They're living with their father. So he's alone. You know, those are the things that most men are like, nah, I don't. No, I do.
I did always pray for my ex to have a good a man come in her life just so she would leave me alone and it would like take her away from, all the bitterness and everything.
I wish that too. Maybe that's why my nerd answered us the first time. You know?
Then she ended up having this guy that was a fucking douchebag, and while my son wasn't talking to me for 4 years, through his whole high school career, this dude tried to like be his dad.
That's not gonna work.
I was fucking pissed.
That's not gonna work.
She
But
learned.
now you're close.
Yeah, we're close now. Yeah. But it took. I missed 4 years of his life, and that's why, I think you understand the whole thing you're talking about, custodial parent.
Yeah.
He stopped coming to me. I called my lawyer. She's like, he's 14. He could decide to do whatever he wants. That sucks.
That's tough.
It is. Listen, it is. But again, and I see on social media him with his kids. As a matter of fact, I bumped into the restaurant with you and your son, and I know how you are with your kids. I know you love them very, very much. They've seen their dad go through ups and downs and work and businesses and things as well. It's everything they see is what's going to turn out later. And I'm sure there's going to be a moment in my life where my son's a little bit older and he's going to give me that space too. He's not going to. There's going to be a point. He wants to be with his friends. He wants to hang out with girls. And he does that sometimes now.
Yeah.
When he comes here, I put him in Dante's jiu-jitsu school. Dad, I want to be with my friends over there. I'm like, all right, you get an hour, but I still need some time with you. And listen, when he gets older, it's probably going to be that way. But at the end of the day, when he becomes a man, that I think will answer your question to what's the end result. Right. Once he becomes a man, that'll answer. And again, as long as he's a good man, I have no beef.
That's it. You know? Just be a good man.
Yeah.
So what keeps you up at night?
My son.
Just your son.
Honestly.
What else?
Listen, you have the stresses. You have the stresses of your business. You have the stresses of, is this going to work out? I told you guys earlier, I just broke off a 5-year engagement, that I really thought was going to be the love of my life. And we didn't break up for bad reasons. There was no fighting. It was just, we were on 2 different levels, and it didn't keep me up that much, but because I think I'm just older and ready to move on with my life. But again, really my family, things about my family. When it comes to business, you're going to make money. If you put the work in, you put the effort in, you really do what you're supposed to do, you do right by your customers, you're going to get more customers, you're going to make money. It might be slow. Another extra bill might hit you. It is what it is, but when it comes to, as long as he's doing well, when I'm worried about him, then that's what really keeps me up at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when you have kids, a lot of things change, and you just want to make sure you're setting the right example, you're doing the right thing, they're taken care of. And once you learn in business that the day you stop worrying about money, it will always come.
Yes.
Is the day that there's almost like a huge weight taken off your back, because we stress so much as humans to how we're going to support, how we're going to survive. But if we ever look at it, like I always talk about, like 99% of things that we worry about never happen. And money struggles are not money struggles. They're just money tugs, right? It's like, all right, so you got to get pulled away from that direction because I'm putting you in this direction. But when's there ever really been a time where you didn't make it?
Where you didn't get out of this?
You made it. You know what I mean?
A lot of the times the money struggles happen. So this is something I'm learning now, right? We've known each other since high school. I always like nice things, nice cars, nice clothes, right? There was a point where I spent an insane amount of money. And that also, that's what puts you into some of these money struggles, is keeping up with the Joneses. In my case, it was keeping up with myself, right? When you're a little bit more disciplined, it's not as bad. You still might have a thing here or there. Somebody gets sick. You got to pay a hospital bill. A kid breaks an arm. Okay, I get it. But the more you can be disciplined today, the more you get to enjoy tomorrow, right? And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Pretty good, right?
Very good. I mean, I don't know how I would feel if I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm also Puerto Rican, but I'm not the standard Puerto Rican.
So much different.
Okay, all right.
Not the standard
You
Puerto
didn't
Rican.
have one at 21.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
21. That's late.
Yeah.
It's like, Puerto Ricans I know, it's like 16 and a half.
Yeah.
So I can't. I'm trying to, as you're talking, put myself in your shoes, and it's easy to say, but impossible to do, because quite frankly, I would never know. But
how about this? It was. I do stress out, right? Mm-hmm. So, and if I could be with him every day, I would. I'm not willing to relocate my life, or my business or everything right now. It just doesn't make sense for me to go there and start all over again. That would be the most idiotic thing I can do. In order for me to be that father that I want to be, in order for me to be who I am with him right now, I need to be my best version of myself. My best version of myself right now is here, is doing exactly what I'm doing. When certain things come up and it's hard and it gets super hard for me, I just remember, and a lot of times I talk to my mother. My mother's my best friend when it comes to that part, because my mother is the mother. She's the nurturer, right? Mm-hmm. So when I'm with my son, I got to be both. I got to be mom and dad, right? I got to be nurturing to him, but I got to be super disciplined with him. And she talks me off the ledge. And she's like, look, it's out of your control. There's only so much you can control. Me trying to talk to my ex, if she doesn't see things eye to eye with me, there's nothing, even whether I live in Florida or not. So what's the difference if I live next door? She's still going to do things her way, or I live all the way over here. When it comes to the school, I'm in constant contact with them. I fly there. Every time I fly there, right now when I fly, we're having a meeting. We're having a sit down. They know that I'm heavily involved with his homework and with his stuff. So I have support. I have remember I lived there for so long. I have all my best friends that are still living there. He plays football with my best friend's son, right? Her husband, my best friend's a woman, her husband is great with my son. Picks him up, takes him to practice, helps him out. So they do all of those extra things for me as well. They have sleepovers. they'll call me. They're like, yo, your son's going to sleep over. That's great. Thank you. You know what I mean? And if I ever need something, there's just a phone. So I have a lot. That helps me a lot too. I have a lot of support over there from people that I went to college with and people that I worked with when I was over there.
You have two different perspectives here of life. He's on one field, we're on another. Like Anthony doesn't have kids. Anthony's biggest baby is his business to make sure it's striving, doing what it's got to do. I mean, his dog is like his child. Yeah. You know, so at the end of the day, like he doesn't have the things that we are committed to yet in life. You know, he's not married, he's not nothing. So he's like, you know, living this life where as long as he's showing up, feeding the families he's got to feed, and his business is constantly growing, that's his satisfaction. He knows he's doing what he needs to do. So we have different worries, you know, different burdens and different things in our life. And that's why he says, like, he doesn't understand, you know, why people that come on a show to have kids drive for certain reasons, you know, but when there's people on a show that don't have kids, bro, they know they're vibing. They're looking to build this empire, do this thing, you know.
So. Listen, I could tell you one thing that was told to me that I was like, what? It didn't make sense at that time was you don't know what love is until you have a kid, right?
That's what I keep hearing.
And I remember to this day.
I prefer one. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, the person that said it, his name was Vito Galina. He was my head mechanic at Freehold Kia. And I looked at him and I said, what are you talking about? I love my mother. I love my father. Bro, the second I saw my son for the first time, I was like, I get it.
You fall in love like this.
I get it. And then again, your drive, it should drive most men to the brink of almost anything, right? To be able to endure any pain and to be able to go after anything you want. Mm-hmm. Most men, because not everybody does the same thing.
Yeah, I always wonder if how that would change me. I play it through my mind daily, actually, at this point.
Your drive is going to go through the roof.
I mean, my drive's already fucking nuts. I don't know if it go any further.
Multiply times, you have no idea. That's the best thing about having kids. It's like when you're at the gym.
Your work ethic will stay, your drive will increase, but your time will lessen. Yeah. And you'll allow yourself to have more time.
Yeah, I get you. We talk about this all the time. That's my biggest fear about having a child is the fact that I know I'm going to be obsessed with being a father. Yeah. And like everything else may suffer. So like that's why
everything won't suffer. It's you got to remember something. Your employees and things, you got to hand them over the ball and let them play. Mm-hmm. You're at that point. Your job is just to be a coach, and you got to trust them.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
They're never going to do what you do.
I could disappear for 6 months. The business is still going to run. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just what it is.
Exactly.
But Freehold Kia, Kia that I still have, that's where I bought it. That's where I bought it. They used to make fun of me with my Kia.
I never made fun of you. Never. Everyone else did. I never did. I just asked you why. But I drove a Kia Soul.
Faithful.
But I drove a Kia Soul around.
Yeah, you did. You did.
For a long time.
You recorded those commercials. You were the hamster.
Yeah. I was a hamster. Yeah. Still getting residuals, baby.
Hey, get paid.
So, yeah, I think if you had a kid, life would play out a little bit different. And you do things for a different reason. He's just a control freak with his business. And no matter, he could disappear for 6 months, but he can't disappear for 6 minutes. That's Anthony. Like,
I got
he has to know what's going on because that's the way he's built his brain. His brain's operating.
Like you said, that's my child.
Yeah.
You know?
If he were to have a distraction, I feel like he'd go through a little bit of like a fucking crisis for a little while, you know, but then he'd figure it out. But when you don't have to figure it out as a parent, like we have to figure it out as a parent, we have to figure it out. Like if you lost everything tomorrow, it wouldn't matter because you'll just get it all again because you're only feeding you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's totally different.
I've learned in life, man, just let a lot of things go. Yesterday was yesterday, right? I live in today. Mm-hmm. Yesterday something bad happened. Today I got to fix it. Tomorrow, it'll be fixed. Yeah. There's nothing to over stress or over really think about it. Yeah, it sucks. Things we got to go through. But I've learned to literally let things just pass and roll off me. You know?
All right, great. Well,
we're good, yeah.
All right. Well, if anyone's looking for a vehicle, lease, and by the way, what you didn't touch on is you're not just a lease broker. You do a little bit more.
We are basically a dealership with no inventory. So I buy cars, I refinance cars, use cars, so a little bit of everything.
If anyone's looking for anything in the car industry, more or less leasing, buying, refinancing, whatever the case is, how do they find you?
They can go to 365beam.com.
365. So you're available 365 days?
300, not me, my staff.
Okay, good.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so we'll call it Christmas.
365anthony.com.
No, definitely not me.
Plus 6 minutes.
So 365beam.com. Anything else you want to leave the audience with?
No, listen, I thank you guys very much for having me on here. It was honestly a pleasure. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to meet you guys and to be here with you guys today.
Well, glad you're here. So, guys, listen, if you're not tuned in, make sure you're following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Go ahead, like, and comment. It really helps boost our algorithm.
Please share us.
See you soon. Cool.